What's going on, everybody? It's 2026.
Unbelievable.
And we are fired up. It's the first video of the year for my channel, and I have YouTube legend, Santa Barbara local celebrity, Joe Parker, on his way to about to hit 10,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
You're like
this
right
is the
there,
year.
right?
This is the no. It's
Really?
slowed down,
Oh.
But I'm almost at 9,000.
Okay, well, I'm guessing that Joe's going to hit 10,000 before the end of March.
All right, let's do
Maybe even before that. I'm on my way. I'm at 2,500 subscribers. If you're new here, we're real estate professionals. I'm Avi, and this is
Joe Parker.
And we love making videos all about Santa Barbara real estate, about what's going in and out. We want to give you the local insight, whether you're watching this, we have some viewers comment from Australia, from Dubai, from Finland, or whether you're just in the neighborhood right here. We want to give you some insight. And today's what's going to be fun is we're going to talk about what's going on in the market, recap 2025, give some predictions for 2026, and we're also going to check out a brand new listing in Montecito. I think it's listed for like 8 million or 8.5. We'll get the full stats when we pull up there, but we're gonna do a really cool in-depth property tour. And on Joe's channel every week we're doing property tours. We usually hit 3 to 4 properties. Montecito, Santa Barbara. Joe's going to be recording this week in Santa Barbara. I'm hosting an open house at our newest listing in the Mesa, so I'm not going to be on that drive along, but usually it's me and Joe and Brahmi. Sometimes it's just me and Joe. Sometimes it's just Joe and Brahmi. Sometimes it's just Joe. But we have a lot of great videos coming out this week and this year, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, that is going to be an amazing year. Some great content coming your way, and an interesting year in the Santa Barbara real estate market because there's definitely transition is in the air. We're reviewing some stats, and that transition it feels like we're at a teetering point of where it could kind of get some momentum in one direction or maybe get some momentum in another direction. And I guess the third thing is potentially just stay on that pinnacle, which would be somewhat flat.
Yep. We were reviewing some stats. I found a couple things interesting. Interest rates towards the end of the year were hovering right above 6%. So they've been higher than that, but they definitely haven't seen a dramatic decrease. And I think that is definitely one of the most important factors to watch for 2026. If interest rates come down significantly, I think to the mid 5.5 range or something like that, I could see us having a more solid growth year. But if interest rates stay above 6, I'm going to guess it's going to stay more flat. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I definitely see the interest rates giving a little surge in activity. And at the same time, that may also increase inventory because there's been a reluctance on a lot of sellers to put their home on the market because they haven't wanted to lose their interest rate that they have. And if it gets down into the 5s, it may be more manageable for them to justify ditching their lower rate. It's probably going to still be lower because they really want a different living arrangement. And then that could produce more listings on the market. But then it also could bring a bunch of buyers in the market that have been waiting on the fence for prices to come down. So there's just so many ways that it could go. When rates come down, we'll definitely, see the buying activity pick up, but then there also could be an increase in listing activity. So will that balance it out?
Yeah. It's just interesting to see how, there's so many different factors at play, and people will say, oh, well, if interest rates come down, that automatically means prices are going to go up. But if inventory increases, you're totally right. There's a lot of different factors at play. We were also looking at, I saw that the average rental rate has decreased this year, and I feel like we've seen that with some of the rentals that we help our clients manage, where we've had to offer even a little bit less than we've gotten in previous tenant cycles.
Right.
And that's pretty rare. People think, oh, the rental market must be so strong, less people are buying homes, rental prices must go up every year, but that's not the case.
No, I think the rental market really surged during COVID.
Yeah.
and got to a point that was just like unsustainable for most people that are looking to rent. And so what's happened is that reckoning has come where people have moved out. Maybe they moved here temporarily for a year or two during COVID or something, and they've left. They paid that premium rent, and then the landlord is trying to find a new tenant and having to reduce it.
Yeah. I think landlords just have to be really realistic and understand that just because you got, a heightened price during a time when there was no rental inventory doesn't mean that, you're going to get that price again. And also I tell landlords as well, if you charge a fair market rent, you'll also oftentimes get a better, tenant where you'll have more people applying. sometimes getting $200 or $300 less a month, but having a perfect tenant is way worth it rather than having, paying maybe top dollar, but having a group of students who aren't going to take great care of the property, or
Right.
someone, who just isn't respectful of the neighbors, or, I think that's definitely something to consider if you own a rental property. And also, we have a video on my channel about the best ways to find rental properties. I know that's something that people reach out to us all the time about, is how do I find a rental? All the rental properties in Santa Barbara, there's not really a real estate agent involved. It's directly, usually, unless the real estate agent is representing the landlord, you go directly as a tenant through the company or through the owner directly. So we have a video that might help you out find a good rental.
Yeah, but circling back to, like, if you are a landlord, I like your strategy about offering it for maybe a little bit less to try to get a great tenant. And the other thing is, you'll typically get a tenant very fast. And if you could not miss a month of rent, that extra $300 that maybe you could have gotten had you priced it a little bit higher tends to wash out, because you're going to get a tenant in quicker. You don't have that missed month's rent, which could wipe out that gap that you're trying to extend the rate for, which takes a longer time to find that tenant maybe, or forces you to decide to reduce it after trying to find a tenant for 30 or 40 days or something. So that pricing is super important in rentals and in sales. All these properties that are selling, we've seen a ton of properties go expired or not sell or cancel because their pricing just wasn't in line with where the market was. And it is confusing for sellers because there's a lot of data out there, and they're getting a lot of opinions from people about their property, the market, how special it is, how valuable it is. But when you really start diving into it, especially these days, it's getting a little bit surgical on values, and which values are holding, which values are falling, and which values are still increasing, because all of those scenarios are taking place in the Santa Barbara market right now.
Great point. And if you had a home that you tried to sell in 2025, whether you live in Santa Barbara or not, we'd love to chat with you, help out, whether connect you to another agent in your market, because we've helped dozens of homeowners in that exact situation. I've helped homeowners who once had their market on the property for over a year, and then didn't work out with their other agent. Their other situation just wasn't working, and we were able to get the job done. And that's a really gratifying feeling when, a lot of times people are really burnt out, they don't know where to turn, and then we're able to create a solution, completely rework the marketing and the strategy to, get the home sold. And that's something that we specialize in, and I'm going to hopefully help a lot of people do that in 2026. One thing we were talking about as well is kind of the price discrepancy going off that, how there's been a couple properties. There's one in San Roque that sold for like $150,000 over the list price. It was totally turnkey. It had a permitted ADU, and there's a couple of these kind of gem properties that are still seeing a lot of activity, while other people are being like, wait, this house is in my same neighborhood, but my home is languishing. Can you kind of touch on what you think is like, the really hot to sell properties right now and what people are paying a premium for?
Yeah, it seems like mostly it's the stuff that is completely dialed in. It's been remodeled. You could just basically move right in. We call it a turnkey property, where you just turn the key and start living. And especially when it's got nice design features, a lot of the amenities people want in a property, those are the ones that are attracting the attention of buyers. And then in particular, when they're in one of our premium locations, let's say like over on the Mesa, areas in San Roque, like Avi said, maybe some areas over in Samarkand or the Upper East Side of Santa Barbara, if we're focusing on Santa Barbara proper, maybe some areas in Hope Ranch Annex, and then of course Hope Ranch or Montecito. All of these premium locations, when a property is turnkey in one of these locations, and the third ingredient, you still have to have the right price on it. Like that example of the San Roque property, they could have easily probably priced that at $2,899,000, which would have been a little bit aggressive, and they might not have gotten that same attention, but they opted to, they knew they had the product, they knew they had the location. They said, hey, let's put a fair price on it and let the market tell us if they want to give us more, which they did get more, and they got it done quickly, and they probably got the beautiful terms. So that's a great strategy, and those sellers were rewarded for it. But it's all about, I think, right now, the last of the Mohicans, so to speak, of these sellers that get that seller market experience where the buyers are clamoring to buy their properties. They're sellers that have really nicely designed properties that are turnkey ready to go in excellent locations, and they've been priced right. And maybe even if it's a single level, that seems to be like, getting into the physical features of properties, those seem to be the most popular across the board. Even younger buyers really somewhat, a lot of them seem to appreciate a single level home, and definitely like the baby boomer demographic is liking that as well. So those are some of the factors I think that it takes to still get that experience of the market.
Fantastic points. I completely agree. And one thing I'll add to that, which I saw, which was interesting, was we talk about the turnkey properties, but some properties that have been flipped, but not really flipped well, I've seen them falling out, reducing in price, because they kind of look turnkey from the photos, but I feel like buyers are really going through with, like a tight, look and a deep picture of the property. And even if it might look turnkey, if they're finding that things were done poorly, there's some flippers in town that kind of do a more cheap job, and there's some flippers that really, take their time and do a premium job. And the premium ones, there was one that got multiple offers, one of Karina's recently. And then, there's the ones that have been, kind of hodgepodged, new paint, like cheap flooring.
Yeah.
And I've seen those reduce price a bunch, go in and out of escrow a bunch. And I'm like, okay, that's a good sign where it's not just, the fixers that aren't selling, but also the poor, the more cheap flips.
Yeah, my guess is that those ones, excuse me, that aren't selling, either they chose a poor location to do their flip project, or they put the wrong price on it.
Yep, great point. And now, it's such a beautiful day. It is 64 degrees out here in the beginning of January. We're headed into Montecito. We took the highway. We didn't take the scenic route today. We wanted to get to this property so we can go check it out. But now we're kind of on more of the scenic roads.
Yep.
And we're about 3 minutes away from this one on Meadowbrook. Do you want to pull it up and see about the stats?
Yes, sir. All right, let's see. We've got 439 Meadowbrook Drive. This is in the Ennisbrook community. We've gone through here quite a bit on my channel looking at homes. This beautiful gated community with secure guard, really nice, big lots, some with really nice ocean views. So great experience to live in here, and you get a lot of amenities, clubhouse, pool, all the stuff. So this is a 3-bedroom, 5-bath, 4,189 square feet. And let's see, we're gonna get through the gate here. It says
we're here for the open house.
Thank you. Experience refined Montecito living surrounded by stunning ocean and mountain views. So this is one of the ones with ocean views in here. That's going to be nice, a nice clear day to take a look at that. Custom built Ennisbrook residence offering timeless design and exceptional privacy. So we've got a good sized home, just under 5,000 square feet. Quietly removed from, what's it say here? Quietly removed yet convenient and close to the clubhouse and attractive amenities of this community. So it is quite an expansive community in here. And one of the things that I learned when I was doing some research about this for the last video when we toured in here was that when they developed Ennisbrook, they had one of the first public open space carve-outs created. So the developers had to carve out a big chunk, something like 40 acres, and it's down below us over here with hiking trails and stuff through it. I haven't been out there, but a viewer on the last video when we were talking about that says he walks it all the time, and it's a great spot. He invited us out to go walk through it with them. So kind of cool. It was like one of the first, this is a trend in our area at least, and I imagine other areas of California and maybe some other areas where to get an approval on a subdivision like this, a big development, oftentimes the powers to be will ask the developer to carve off a big chunk for preservation.
Totally.
So that's kind of a nice,
that's really awesome,
cultural aspect of development here. Maybe not so nice for the developers, but great for the community.
For sure. I mean, we got to get out and do one of our cold plunge video, because we have had so much rain. If you're not following what's going on in Santa Barbara, I feel like we're almost like hit our annual yearly totals just in the month of like December and January, right? Or over the traditional annual totals.
We got our annual total already. Now it's just all surplus.
Wow. So the hiking trails, for those of you who don't know, oftentimes they'll have areas where you can kind of jump in the water, and especially when it's a lot of water like this, it's really clean, it's really fresh, it's almost like a nature's cold plunge. And me and Joe and our other teammate Garrett and other friends, we like to do that sometimes, and we'd have to film that in a video for sure. Yeah,
and we actually have to, because on that one video you said if we get 500 likes or over 500 likes, we got to jump in. And someone called it out, said, "Oh,
Nice.
You're over 500, so we definitely got to go do that
This
soon."
month, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And on this video, if we get over 1,000 likes, what are we going to do? Got to keep upping the score.
We'll give everybody $100. No, just kidding.
Let us know in the comments, though, if we should do another challenge or another hike, or I'm trying to think what we should do. We should do something fun. Maybe do a video on a boat in Santa Barbara, or take people fishing or something like that.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be
There's a lot
great.
of good options to do. Do you know what the dues are in here? I'll ask the agent, but
Yeah, let's see. It's going to be a pretty penny because you
Yeah.
do have quite a bit of amenities, but you are taking care of your own property and everything, so that's nice.
let's try that next one.
Association fee annually is $7,000.
Okay,
It's not bad.
not terrible. Yeah,
No, especially with all those amenities.
a lot of amenities.
But then again, you're going to do everything on your property. It's just like owning a single family home. But those roads, the privacy, the security, and all those amenities.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys have liked what you've seen so far and you haven't yet, be sure to like and subscribe because Avi's got a great channel, lots of content here.
Thank you. We're gonna go check this one out. Can I park right here, you think?
I think so.
Shouldn't block anybody, right? Let's go check out this crib. So one thing I really like about this property, it's a beautiful facade and it's set back from the road, which is really nice. You have cool little sculptures and gardens. And I mean, check out all the parking right here. You could fit a bunch of cars right here. It's a lot of driveway space. It's kind of that cool off salmon pink color. They have a bunch of cars parked on the road already. And it's so quiet here. Obviously in this community, you're not gonna have anyone doing drive-through, or, you know, the only people that are driving by are gonna be people that live in the community. And it's such a private community, there's not gonna be much road noise. Very nice. I really love the deep, looks like maple floors. Wow, check out this bathroom mirror made of seashells. What? Cool wallpaper, faux books. I just love the size and scale of each room. Very kind of classical Victorian vibes. Crown molding, recessed lighting.
There's another color.
Really beautiful finishes, very classical.
There you go. That might have been.
And check out,
I'm sorry.
great views, awesome flower garden, roses everywhere. So much natural light. These all look like multi-pane or French doors, open sliders.
But I think this is constant.
I'm gonna do the kitchen in a sec. We're gonna go back through and look. Ooh, look at those cool dog statues. I mean, the views are just insane.
Love that thought.
Lots of seating.
I gotta go check again because we did, but he thought maybe after a cycle they would.
Is this John? Which John?
Looks like the newer induction stovetop.
Because there is a.
Big kitchen area. Little butler's pantry right here. So nice. High ceilings with exposed beams. This is the main great room. Wow, look at that cool art. Looks like it's from Asia. Cool decor, candlesticks. It looks like they're still living here, would be my guess. They have cool taste. Got the bookshelf with the sliding books. This appears to be the primary. You can walk right out to your patio and look at the ocean. So cool. Like the sink, even though it's just a single sink. Maybe, no, this probably is the primary. Toilet and the bidet. Big walk-in closet. Plenty of room for everything. Really high ceilings. Like the granite they picked for the shower. Let me know what you guys think about the finishes. It's very classical and very unique. This is an office, maybe guest bedroom. Cool classical wallpaper. The other closet was empty and this one's full of their things. So maybe this is the room that they're kind of using as their primary. Laundry right there. Didn't miss anything, just making sure. And now, guest bedroom, 2 little twin beds, kind of cute, classical style. That grass out there is turf, so it's low maintenance. Like all the archways. And this is en suite as well. Wow, big shower for a small guest room. Interesting how the showers are also big and they have single vanity sinks, but really cool finishes. I'm gonna walk out on the gardens, check this out. Very cool terrace gardens. Wow. Oh, nice. They got all the citrus trees, fruit trees. Dang, this feels like you're in Italy or something like that. So cool. Love it. Then here's the facade of the house from the back. Barely can see the neighbors, so private, all the big privacy hedges. Okay, Joe, leaving that really cool Ennisbrook pad, what did you think?
Very formal.
That way.
Oh, very formal, very elegant, nice, single level. It didn't feel like the close to 5,000 square feet, but I guess those rooms were huge, huh? So like you could just get a ton of more space in like each room than typical maybe.
Yep.
But it, I loved the volume. I loved the light. The views were incredible. What else? Just had a lot of it felt like a lot of old school, kind of formal vibe and character.
Charm.
Yeah.
I wonder, I feel like the buyer profile there, I saw a couple people there. I feel like it's a great, retiree buy maybe.
Yeah.
Or if someone wanted to completely redesign it, they could for sure. But if you wanted to host a lot of people or like have a lot of people stay over, even though it's a big amount of square footage, it's not a lot of rooms. Or, it's a lot of there's like huge living room, huge dining room, huge, sitting areas, but not as much like usable bedrooms or like offices or movie theaters or something like that. So.
Right. All those little extra rooms that you get, which a lot of times don't get used. I think people that are exploring Santa Barbara as a place to retire in, maybe you've sold your business or something, that would be a really great opportunity, because you kind of get into a community where you'll be able to get to know your neighbors at the clubhouse and the pool, a nice easy living environment. It would just be I think really attractive to someone that type of demographic, or maybe even someone that's moving out of a big huge estate back up in Montecito and they want to downsize, which honestly a 4,800 square foot home is a downsize to a lot of people. Yeah. So that could be another option. I could see buying that. Yeah. But I think it would definitely be in that kind of baby boomer demographic.
I exactly think the same thing. Do you know what, is that all the public space? Should we go check that out?
No, that's still part of the community.
That's the community, okay.
Yeah.
But, what was I going to say? Do you know, have you ever been inside the clubhouse or the club area? I wonder what that vibe is like, because I asked, there's no pool, but there is a pool at the community clubhouse area.
I filmed the pool. It's a small little pool, but I think there's another one over by the casitas.
Okay.
So I think they have a little pool over there and then another one. But no, I haven't explored those amenities. That might be good to do.
I wonder if they're used often, or if I would assume some people in this community might have their own pool, unless it's not allowed by the HOA. But there's
I think some do.
Room for it in a lot of these properties.
Yep, they definitely do.
Yeah, so that one didn't have a pool. There's probably room for it in that terrace garden area. I thought the terrace gardens were really cool. It felt like Europe. There's lemon trees and like cool statues, but maybe that's one drawbacks if someone really wanted to have their own pool. That's not the property for them unless you are ready to build it.
Yeah. Those were immaculate gardens. I liked how they had the gravel work all patterned out in those geometrical patterns and stuff to give some interest to the drought tolerant ground cover.
So much privacy. You could like barely see the neighbors peeking through the hedges, but you really feel like you're in your own beautiful zone. And I mean, look at how well the community is maintained. These grasses, obviously we've had a lot of rain too, that helps, but like such a cool, is that a willow tree or what?
Yeah, like a weeping willow or something.
Those are beautiful, and it's just like glistening. Everything's so green. So they obviously, do a good job taking care of the community. All those, communal plants and whatnot look like they're very well maintained.
Yeah.
Nice to have the gate for the added security.
And relatively easy access to everything. So like if we go out here and we make a left, we'll get up to East Valley Road, and then we make another left, we'll be at the Upper Village in just a couple of minutes. You drop down here, you could get on the freeway real quick, take 2 exits up, and you're off at Coast Village Road. So the 2 commercial areas of Montecito are only about 5 minutes away. And then if you want to just stay on the freeway after getting on down here and hop into Santa Barbara, you're looking at 10 minutes. So really convenient. And if you're the type of person that needs to go to LA quite a bit, this is getting you further down through some of the choke points of where we get traffic on our freeway because of the construction. So this will give you a quicker departure time out of the south coast of Santa Barbara down into Los Angeles, which could make the difference of saving you an extra 10 or 20 minutes on a commute, which is something. It's not nothing. So it could even be more than that if there's some kind of traffic jam further up. So
yeah, we're only 11 minutes away from our office on Upper State Street. I mean, that's one of the best things about living here. The convenience is amazing. During the holidays, I was in Denver a bunch, and man, it's sometimes getting from place to place. It's far away, traffic, this, that, and the other, and there's not many places more convenient than Santa Barbara and Montecito.
Yeah.
Everything within a 10-15 minute strike.
Yeah.
Beaches, restaurants, everything.
The way the 101 freeway runs through all of these communities, it really makes it as like a road, a highway that we use as locals to get across town, or just to get like, a mile across town. You may jump on the freeway at Mission, jump off at Carrillo Street, right? To avoid those stop signs and stuff like that. So it's a real, I think, unique feature of Santa Barbara to have this freeway that, you just jump on to go across town, or get from the different sections of town like Montecito to Santa Barbara to Goleta or down to Carpinteria. It's just all real convenient and usually pretty accessible.
Once all the work is done, it's going to be
really nice. This
flying.
is this last little section right here, the big
final finish.
The big finish right through the heart of Montecito. Lots of bridges to rebuild, lots of exits to redo, but we are getting close.
Yeah, look at all the materials out there. They're going to work.
Yeah.
But to wrap things up, Joe, I would like to hear your 2026 market predictions, or maybe, we've talked about some things to watch, but is there any other tidbits or market knowledge that you want to share with all the viewers watching?
I think that Santa Barbara will experience overall a modest appreciation. I think we're going to see more of this dynamic of some properties looking like and feeling like they're losing value and others staying strong. I think we'll be driven by cash buyers in that $3 to $8 million mark that really jump on things, that are ready to buy when the right thing comes along. That activity seems to be the strongest with the cash buyers in that segment of the market, which really bolsters up, I think, our overall averages and median sales prices when those price points are really active. And that's really the price point where people who had a big windfall of cash somehow in their life, selling a business or inheritance or, success, all these things, like, they're looking in those price points, and they're looking in these types of areas, and there's only a few homes, but there's a lot of those profiles out there. There's a lot of people with a lot of money. So basically there's a lot of money out there and a little bit of inventory here in Santa Barbara. So those dynamics will continue to hedge off, I think, any kind of downturn that's really dramatic. I think it's just going to be minimal in some areas, but across the board we'll probably see a modest appreciation.
Great takes. I think one thing I'll add there is that I think we will outpace the national average for home appreciation, at least Santa Barbara compared to the national average, because I think there's been so much new construction across other markets. There's still not a lot, but I know, in areas like Texas, Colorado, Nevada, that really had a big boom during COVID, they're still a little bit high in supply, and now that interest rates are where they're at, a lot of their newer construction is built for first-time home buyers or people in that entry level, and that's not selling off as much. And I just have seen my my other friends and agents see that the market has really slowed down in those areas that had a big post-COVID boom. So I think that because we don't have enough inventory and we're not creating new houses in our market, there's only basically like new apartments being built. There's one kind of smaller project. I was thinking in Carpinteria, there's that project going on. There's not much new homes being built besides individual specs. So that's going to help us increase against the national average. And I think that the biggest demographic for sure will be people who have, been inherited a good chunk of money from their parents passing away or something like that. I think that's going to be
generational wealth transfer.
Yep,
big driver
buyers
of our market.
Yep, for sure. I have a handful of clients that are doing that, and they're saying, well, we sold our parents' house in another market or in this market, and me and my siblings have split it up, and now I'm ready to upsize or get a new property. And I think if interest rates come down in the mid-5s, it would help our first-time buyers and other people living here. But I think that the vast majority of the buyers here are going to be cash. I think it was 40% towards the end of the year, and I think when I first started in the business, it was more like 30%. So definitely increase, and we'll see if that continues to go up. But here's what I know for sure: I love living in Santa Barbara, and the people that pay the big bucks to live here also agree. And I mean, I've been a lot of places all around the world, and there's no place like Santa Barbara. And I think a lot of people that watch us, they agree. I know some people are like, "What the heck? How could you ever justify those prices?" But if you love it like we do, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. You're paying for a beautiful environment and some of the best weather in the world. So if those things are important to you, definitely put Santa Barbara on your map.
There's going to be some good new restaurants opening up in 2026. I went to Little King in Montecito recently. There's going to be a bunch of new. I feel like State Street is continuing to kind of find its groove. Definitely something to pay attention to is short-term rentals, which are potentially on the chopping block. I think 2026 is going to have a lot of change, and will be interesting to follow up. Maybe we'll watch this video at the end of the year and see what we got right, see what we got wrong. But definitely something to be on the lookout for is a lot more content from us. Joe's going to be uploading every week as he always does. I'll try to be having new videos up every week, and we're going to try to get 1 to 2 podcasts out a month. We've done 2 podcasts so far. We're going to get one fired up for January, and we're just going to keep you guys up to date with everything Santa Barbara real estate and beyond, and it's going to be a great year.
Yes. All right, Abby. I've enjoyed making this one. We're going to have a great time making more videos, and to all of you who are watching, thanks for tuning in and making it this far.
We so appreciate the likes, subscribes. Go check out Joe's channel if you haven't already, and we will see you on the next video. Peace.
See you, everybody.